I'm Ozzy. I lost 100 pounds twice. Second time, I was able to get leaner, have visible abs, and keep it off for 2 years in a row now. And what I wanted to talk about today is why most people regain the weight after fat loss, right? And I feel like I'm very, like, I'm in a very good position to speak on this because, well, I had to lose 100 pounds twice for a reason. I ended up regaining after the first time, right? And a lot of it, so I'll tell you how I lost it the first time, right? So the first time, in a nutshell, I did mostly the gym bro approach, lifting and working out 5, 6 days a week. I was eating mostly the chicken, rice, and broccoli approach, more or less. And I stayed consistent. I started like my last semester of college, so I started around when that thing that happened in 2020 happened that affected the entire world. It basically I was consistent between 2020 to like for a little over a year, so it's like 2021, right? I went from like 336, 335 pounds to just about 230, and I stayed consistent. I was able to keep it for about like 6 months, and then unfortunately though, by like summer 2023, I had ended up gaining most of it back. Not all of it, but I got back to like 315 pounds. And I'm just like, ew, I don't like this. But in a nutshell, that's the story. So in my opinion, some of the mistakes from my first time was pretty much one, I did what a lot of people did. On some levels, I tried to speed run the process. But then also, I didn't focus on sustainability and give as much thought to after as I should have. And both those things kind of tie to what I believe is very important, why I like talking about the psychological side. And I feel like it's not talked about enough, is that I didn't look at it as much as an identity shift as I should have. And I believe those are the main things that kind of led to me regaining and having to lose it again, right? And also, like, the habits. These are all things that I fixed on the second time. So the second time that I did it, right? So I told you I got back up to like 315, 2023 summer, and I'm just like, ugh, like, okay, yeah, I let myself go. I don't like this. I don't like this. I know I can do better than this. So first things that came to mind was, okay, one, I'm gonna do this again, but I'm gonna make some changes. The first thing I was like, we're gonna address the sustainability aspect, right? So I was the first time I did it, I was a broke college student when I started, broke college student, taking 6 classes, working a job, not like a 9 to 5. I was a cashier, right? Doing what you gotta do to get through. Time was still something to consider, but then what was it, about a third or halfway through the semester, due to what was happening in the world at the time, we went from in-person classes to remote. But by that time, I'd already made like pretty significant progress. So I kind of already made up my mind, like I wanted to keep going with this. And and I've mentioned this in other videos, if you haven't seen them. Like one of my biggest inspirations for like wanting to get into that kind of shape was David Lade, among others. But yeah, definitely one of the biggest ones, right? And the funny thing is, the first time I didn't get like, I mean, yeah, I made dramatic progress, obviously, but like I said, I got much leaner the second time. Basically, the second time, I focused much more on sustainability aspect. I focused much more because, like, the second time, I've been working a 9 to 5 for some time now. I was, in my field, which is, IT for those of you who don't know, and like, I wanted to account for even if life gets busy and just making it as easy as possible to be consistent, to remove that barrier, right? And just putting systems in place to make it as sustainable. Because I'm like, all right, before I knew it was a marathon, but like I had an even deeper understanding of that. So those are considerations I was able to put in place. And also, whether it's subconsciously, I guess, these are changes I made in mind of not just getting there, but being able to stay there for a long period of time without hating life either. So these are all the things going through my mind. And to be able to make that happen, you basically had to create an identity shift, a mindset shift when it comes to fitness and how I looked at it and how I would approach and execute. And that's what I did. One of the major changes I made from the first time, obviously, I didn't do as much of like the gym bro approach. Diet wise, which is what pulled a good amount of you guys that would be watching this here. Like, if you don't know, I make a lot of low calorie, high protein recipes on my shorts and on my Instagram and TikTok. And trust me, it's not your typical, just give it a look. But basically, I'm somebody that knew how to cook way before I ever got into fitness, right? Did I dabble in low calorie, high protein recipes the first time? I did, but I didn't really push what was possible and really experiment on my own and see what I could make happen like I did the second time. So that was one major change, right? Because I want my diet to be as, no bland food is a part of my approach for a reason. And the second thing that I changed was instead of lifting, 5, 6 days a week and working out 5, 6 days a week, I work out 2, 3 days a week because I'm like, life gets busy, whatever. I can stay consistent with that. Like, I understood that consistency is king. Yes, intensity matters, but, and not even just in fitness, in life, anything that requires delaying gratification, I would strongly advise never increase intensity at the cost of consistency. You can increase intensity when your consistency muscle with that thing has gotten strong enough that you can do that and still maintain the needed level of consistency for the goal you're trying to achieve. For me, that was the change in approach. Minimalist approach to lifting. That's probably why I put the no living in the gym. I went much heavier with the low calorie, high protein recipes, and I was much more consistent. Got my steps in between all of those things. Stayed consistent. Lost most of it. I went from like 315 to now I hover around 215 for the most part. Like, I hover around 215, sometimes bounce between that and like what 220 at work. So those are the main differences the second time. Now I still, even while I'm like maintaining or whatever, I still do those habits. Granted, I work with more calories in the diet, but I accepted it as more of an identity shift and a mental shift the second time, which is something I didn't do the first time. And that's something that most people don't do the first time. Here's most people's approach to dieting, getting in shape or whatever, if they even decide to make an actual attempt. Oh, I'm gonna do this diet. I'm gonna do this fad diet. Oh, I'm gonna do fasting, a juice cleanse, keto, whatever. The only reason any diet works is because of a calorie deficit. I'm gonna do it, and then I'm gonna get the shape I want, and then I'm gonna go back to eating whatever BS or the habits that I was doing before. That's most people's approach. The thing with that is not changing my identity mentally that first time is why I regained the second time. Yeah, I started re-engaging in habits that I wasn't doing during the journey, and that's what led to the regain. Another thing I like mentioning is, so for an identity shift, a lot of the time for goals that people want, like, okay, let's say in this case we're talking about losing fat and then becoming the person that gets fit and stays fit. To achieve the result that you want, it's like almost everyone has at least one thing associated that's, one goal or outcome that you need to delay gratification to achieve. And it's usually much more fulfilling life goals or things that just completely change your standard of life, that just improves your overall quality of life, right? But to be able to make it happen, you have to learn to delay gratification, at least in one aspect or the other. I believe a better approach is becoming the person that has that result. What I mean by that is, okay, in fitness in this case, right? The change in my perspective the second time was, I don't want to just get lean, I want to also stay there, right? So I have to become the person that's fit. I have to become the person or the version of myself that's lean and stays that. Basically, I had to have an identity shift from someone who's unaccountable with what they eat and just eats whatever they feel like in the moment without any thought, to someone that's like, okay, I'm eating with sense. Like, yeah, I still enjoy what I'm eating, but I'm eating with a goal in mind and I'm eating with competence. To someone that just doesn't care if I'm inactive or whatever, to, okay, I'm going to make sure I at least get a certain amount of activity today or throughout the week overall. And just someone that's like, that continues going on the path because that's a part of me. And for a true identity shift, you have to do the habits related to the person you're trying to become to then achieve the result. Because the result, most of the time, is from being the kind of person that achieves it and gets it, right? And your habits are basically just a reflection. Yeah, your habits and your behaviors are basically just a reflection of your mindset and how you think and how you actually execute and move through life. So another example I like using is this same thing is the reason why most lottery winners go broke versus people who actually did the work to build real wealth. The people who did the work to build real wealth, they had to make sacrifices to do it. They had to become the person or the version of themselves that's wealthy, meaning engaging in certain habits. That means delaying gratification when it comes to money. That means investing in themselves, improving their skills. That means owning stuff and not just going and impulse buying all the time, doing things that delay gratification, taking risks. Well, most people look at trying to do something that's taking risks. Well, a lot of the time, I believe a perspective shift, opportunity seeking is how I would call it instead, because in life, risk and opportunity are always intertwined. I believe that's something most people just skip over. But let's not lose the train of thought. If they didn't become that person that's willing to invest in themselves, that's willing to do the habits, that's willing to, whether it's build that business or, make the sacrifices, do the grind, it's then much harder for them to sustain the habits because they didn't change their identity. You only change your identity and your mindset through your habits, through what you do. I mean, ultimately, you can want these things, but if you never actually execute, I mean, what are you really doing then, right? That's not a goal at that point, in my opinion. It's just a dream. But yeah, that was the main differences the second time. I believe that's why most people regain. And like I've mentioned before, I believe getting in shape is one of the highest return on investment things that you can do in this life. It improves your quality of life. Like both just having the result itself of being an in shape person opens so many doors, gives you so many opportunities that you just would not have or would have a way harder time taking advantage of if you weren't that person already or didn't have that result. But then also, the person you become mentally from adopting that identity, from raising up that version of yourself, makes you so hard to defeat, makes you just basically better at the game of life in pretty much every area. So, yeah, that's why most people regain. So, if you want to work with me to unlock the version of yourself that gets in the best shape of their life and is able to keep it, links in the description and in my channel bio. We can set up a call and see if we can make this work. Other than that, have a blessed day.